Hello and welcome to Kaiju Curry House, episode 110. I'm Connor and I'm joined as always by Paul. Unfortunately, Joe couldn't be here at the moment because he's got graduation. So our boy's getting ahead in the world. As always, we start with the usual question. Paul, what have Kaiju been up to?
Well, I've got myself in the Christmas spirit by watching Krampus, which is, I'm trying to think. I think I've watched it every year now since I first came across it. It's such a fun film. I know it's not like kaiju, but it's got some cool. That Jack in the Box is creepy as hell.
Yes, I've actually still yet to see it. Actually, believe it or not.
Okay, because it's done by is it Mike Doherty, isn't it? The guy who directed King of the Monsters. So it's like, there's a whole MonsterVerse link there. And it's a Christmas film that's obviously horror, but it's also lots of fun. There's like killer gingerbread men and stuff. But there's also some really horrifying things, like I said, like the Jack in the Box that eats kids. It's it's a nice take on the Christmas tale of be careful what you wish for, I guess. And
to be
appreciate
fair,
what you've got.
To be fair, Jack in the Box is creepy in its own because it's just like the worst toy to give a kid. Yeah, exactly. It's just like you just wonder if the people that invented Jack in the Box were just very sadistic. But
oh no! I mean, it's meant to be fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun, and then
it's like surprise. You don't expect it to come out and its jaw just like split in two and it's just like gobbling people up like a snake.
Oh God, yeah. Now you actually have me curious to actually see Krampus now at some point. But
and it's on Netflix. That's where I watched it. So absolutely, if you've got Netflix and you want to watch something Christmassy but not traditional, then go for a bit of a horror. Other than that, I've started playing a game that's been on my backlog list. It's been something I wanted to play for years now. It's called Castlevania Lords of Shadow. It was back on the 360, the Xbox 360. So I don't know how old. It's probably at least a decade old by now.
I think it came out in 2015. I might be wrong. I need to check it out.
It's old. But it's done by it's Konami game, but it's done with Kojima Productions. So back when Kojima worked there, which adds a bit of a heavyweight to it, and it's narrated by Patrick Stewart.
Ah, yes.
Which is great. So
that's where the budget went.
I love his voice. He's got such a great voice, and he's telling stories, and that's got loads of creatures in it. And I just fought this boss, which I think they'll call like the White Witch or something, but it's this massive demonic bird thing, and it makes this roar that I don't know where it's from, but I swear I've heard it before. I don't know if it's just a generic monster roar that's been used in some cheaper films, or if they've just ripped it straight out of like a Godzilla or Gamera film. I'm going to try and find a clip and I'll put it in, and then someone can tell me what on earth I know it from, because I know it's not from that game.
Video games for the longest time have been like taking roars from like different like kaiju films and all that, and just applying them to characters. Like,
I think they must have been. I don't know how they get the rights to it, or if they don't.
Yeah, like we have say way back even on the Super Nintendo, you got the likes of Super Metroid. That most of the monsters in that game that you fight reuse Godzilla character sounds.
What?
And yes, indeed.
Do they really?
Yeah, so if you listen to, say, Ridley, that's Anguirus. If you listen to, I think it's Mother Brain, it's Mothra, of all things. In fact, they use Mothra for the Metroids as well.
Now you've mentioned that, the Metroids do sound like... Because I love that game, and I've never made that link. I'm going to have to replay it.
And it's a shame that Joe isn't here, because Crocomire, who is the monster who unfortunately gets cooked in Super Metroid to be a skeleton, even for a Nintendo game, that's pretty graphic, but uses Titanosaurus's roar. So, yeah, you got a whole selection of Godzilla monsters to killed brutally in this Nintendo game.
Oh, that's amazing. I think I've got that on the mini SNES Mini.
Mm-hmm. I actually have the cartridge itself.
You've got the cartridge, have you still? Okay, I sold that when I was a child.
Yeah,
probably worth a fortune now, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, like God, that was like £60 for that copy back in the day.
It came with a huge A4 full color guide.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I got mine secondhand. Of course, not like a brand new copy, but yeah. Lord help us if it was like an actual brand new copy of the game. But it's funny as well that it kind of showed that Nintendo back then didn't really care much about the European market, or at least the UK market, because by default you can't change this at all. It has by default Spanish and German subtitles. There's no off button. So you're trying to read this, and then you just see this German just come across the screen. It's like, oh god!
Well, you must be able to turn that off.
No, you can't.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've got a German copy. Who knows?
You've got a German copy because you could play games from different regions. I think I got a German copy of Jurassic Park for that because there was no. Yeah, I think you could play them on any region. It didn't matter. At least within Europe.
So, if any of our listeners like Super Nintendo games and would like to confirm that the UK version of Super Metroid has German subtitles for some reason, please write in the comments below.
Well, I will definitely get the Mini out, and I will boot up Metroid, which I'm sure is just an emulation of the European version, and I will see what it's got on it.
Yeah. But
that was such a good game. Yeah, and you've made me want to play that now and find out what these noises are. That's a fantastic little fact there, Connor. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh man,
but, yeah, I'll let you know how I get on with Lord of Shadows. But so far it's fun. It's a third person action adventure where you go around killing trolls and vampires and everything in between. There's just lots of it's kind of like if you imagine the older God of War games, but with vampires and monsters, as opposed to was it Greek myths you find? Not the myths, but
in the original God of War,
like the original 2 or 3.
It was Greek gods and all that.
Okay, yeah.
Only recently, I think they changed it to Norse mythology, even though the character Kratos is still in it, but. Don't think about it. Just accept it. It's a game. Just go with it.
Yeah. So that's all I've done actually. Yeah, just watched Krampus and played that game. I'm sure I'll be doing more. I do want to start watching Ultraman Series 2 before Season 3 comes out next year. So that's something I plan to binge over the holiday break. Which I will actually mention. We're recording this before Christmas, although this is dropping on Boxing Day. So. We don't know what we've got. We could have got some awesome kaiju gifts to talk about. We might not. It's also freezing outside. So anyone watching, I'm wearing a hat because it's so cold because I film in my garage where it's...
And I'm currently recording next to my freezer and I have a blanket on that no one can see. So, oh man.
So, Connor, what have kaiju been up to?
Well, Paul, as I mentioned last episode, I got Kong 76, and here's my copy that I forgot to bring on last episode. And I hadn't seen it in a while, and I thought, well, I'll just spend the night watching it, and I did. And I liked it back. I liked it now as I liked it back then, I suppose.
You don't sound very enthusiastic.
Well, it's like as a film you've seen before, it's just like there's not much you can say about it.
Does it hold up, or is that nostalgia talking now, I suppose?
It holds up in some places, yeah.
Not that you would have watched it when it originally released.
No, but no, like I had like an old Studio Canal DVD of it from like the early 2000s. So, it's just like, it's one of those things where the DVD tends to hide more things.
Yes.
Because of the lower quality compared to this, which is from a 4K scan. In fact, the thing with these Studio Canal releases is I've noticed this in a few releases that they've done, because they recently did the Doctor Who films in 4K recently. So that's the two Peter Cushing films. and they always like put like a stamp at the start of each film, like saying like this is remastered from this copy or something, this original negative, which allegedly King Kong comes from the original negative as well. But some of the special effects still stand up, like the Kong suit. Kong is portrayed as a man in a suit in this film.
Okay.
They wanted to get Ray Harryhausen.
Of course they did.
Too expensive. But so they got Rick Baker, who, as any horror fan would know, is the special effects director of films like American Werewolf in London and all that. He did not design Kong, but he played Kong. That's right. So
okay.
yeah, so he played Kong in this movie, and I will say that from 1976, that Kong costume still looks really good. You know, from what I was reading, like they tried to make Kong more humanoid, right? Maybe because it's a man in a suit, so of course they're going to make him more humanoid. But other than that, you know, like the suit, like keep in mind, like the Godzilla series had not long finished when this film got made, right?
Yeah, I was trying to think how the timeline goes for that.
The last Godzilla film was Terra Mechagodzilla, right? Now imagine that compared to how Kong looks in this film, right? That's only a year difference, you know. But then again, you're comparing Hollywood budgets to Toho budgets. So
yeah, so Toho wasn't like a shoestring budget, wasn't it?
Although there is a giant robot Kong in this film, right?
What?
So, some context. So, near the end of the film, when they capture Kong and bring him back to land, they wanted to have an animatronic prop that audiences could basically, real people could stand around. Look, it's Kong. He's real. You know. For starters, the animatronic looks nothing like Rick Baker in the suit, and it broke down. So, in total, most of the shots that you see of the animatronic Kong is just standing there, motionless. And the one bit where we actually do see it, its arms sort of like move, but its hand goes slack, so it's like that.
Oh, wow.
And that's the last time you see the animatronic Kong.
What a waste.
Yeah, and that costs, I want to say 14 million, but I'm probably wrong. That's probably way off, but it was
that's like
expensive.
More of the budget of a Godzilla film, you know, that's all the suits.
Yeah. But yeah, for those who haven't seen it as well. Oh yeah, another fun fact about Rick Baker. So he played King Kong in this one, right? But in Kong 2005, he was one of the pilots that shot down Kong. So he got to be Kong and he got to kill Kong. So yeah. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, Kong 76. So another thing that you should be aware of for those who haven't seen it is, even though it's a remake of the 30s Kong, they set it in modern day. So basically the modern day of the 1970s, right? So it's rather than say like a film crew going to try and find Kong, it is sort of current, I guess, or like it's actually an oil company trying to find a spot to find more oil, right?
Okay.
And it just so happens they come across Kong. They find that the oil is practically useless. They think, wait a minute, monkey. We'll take the monkey. Yeah. So they take it back to New York as the new mascot for the oil company. And of course, that doesn't go right at all. It goes completely wrong. Who'd have thunk?
So that sounds... Didn't they do that in Mothra?
Sort of.
Yeah. They take the... They take something back, don't they? Is it the fairies or is it actually Mothra?
They take the fairies.
Take the fairies and they're going to be...
Yeah, which in itself is almost like the same plot as King Kong as well, if you think about it. Yeah. Every Kaiju film's derivative. Fight me, Joe.
Don't let Joe say that.
Yeah. Although one thing I will say is there is an uncomfortable feeling with the Kong 76 film, and that is its finale, because the original Kong, as well as Peter Jackson's remake, Kong climbs the tallest building at the time, which was the Empire State Building. Kong 76 is the World Trade Center. Yeah, and they do film inside the World Trade Center as well.
Oh, really?
So it's a very, very odd experience watching this film, knowing what happened. But but then again, it's the 1970s. You know, they didn't know that was going to happen. You know, it's just
no. I think you can forgive them for that.
No,
I mean, isn't there the Godzilla versus Megalon poster where
there is.
Both of them are standing on top of the World Trade Center? So, yeah,
it's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, it's a part of history. They happen.
Exactly. No, I don't think we should shy away from where it was filmed because of that.
That being said, the poster for it also shows Kong fighting jet fighters on top of the World Trade Center, which, not good. Which is funny because it's actually helicopters he fights in the movie. So where the jet fighters came in on the poster is beyond me. But yeah, it just shows like I don't know, this kind of a rough segment, I think. I think we should move on from that, I think. What do you say, Paul?
I had an interesting, I don't want to say kaiju conversation, but I did have an interesting message from one of our listeners about the Godzilla birthday episode.
Oh.
So you might remember for episode 100, we had a message from M. Bryant, who said that she was taking a sip of lemonade every time we said kaiju or Godzilla, celebrating 100 episodes. Did the same thing for Godzilla's birthday,
right?
And actually made a note of every time we said the word. So would you like to guess how many times we said kaiju in the Godzilla episode of Kaiju Curry House?
Did you actually count for real? Like,
yes, for real.
Okay, how much did you count?
So we counted both the word kaiju and the word Godzilla. So how many times do we say kaiju and or Godzilla in the Godzilla episode of Kaiju Curry House?
Oh dear. I'm not even going to guess.
Okay, I'll just we said kaiju 16 times.
Right.
Godzilla 102.
Oh no. Oh no.
So a fair amount of times.
Is this also counting the name of the podcast though as well? Because
it would be.
We have to say Kaiju Curry House.
We'd have to say, hello, this Kaiju Curry House.
KCH, there you go.
So Kaiju is going to be said, 16 times. There you go. I mean, because I think that's like probably an average amount of times. I don't know. But Godzilla, 102 times is an awful lot, even if it was his birthday.
I wonder, how many times we can say Godzilla in a sentence just to make this girl completely miserable.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's... Yeah, kaiju is clearly the main word we say, but we are called Kaiju Curry House, so I think we're allowed.
Yeah, for Godzilla's sake.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up. Anyway, Connor, as we said, this is the Boxing Day special, isn't it? It's going to release in between Christmas and New Year, and we're just going to have a little chat about what's been happening in the world of kaiju before we, this is how we're going to see out 2022.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct.
What do you want to discuss? Because you rather excitedly told us about Monsterverse Omnibus.
Oh,
the recently announced Kickstarter project.
By the time of this recording, this was announced about 20 minutes ago, right? Legendary Comics, they actually made a comic brand, is releasing an omnibus collection of all the Monsterverse comics. So let me try and list off all of them. This is how professional we are.
So we've got Godzilla Awakening,
mm-hmm.
Kong Skull Island, Birth of Kong,
yep,
Godzilla Aftershock,
mm-hmm.
Godzilla Dominion,
yep,
and Kingdom Kong.
Yep. Plus,
and an all-new story, Call to Action, set during the events of Godzilla vs. Kong.
Amazing.
So that's six. That's 6 stories.
Yes,
by
6
Legendary
stories.
Comics, yeah.
But for the price of one. What's the catch, Paul? What's the catch of this?
Well, if you would like this fantastic collection of comics, it will cost you a mere $99.
Oh my God!
$99 on Kickstarter, because Legendary, they've come across hard times. You know, they need fan backing, and Kickstarter take around 20%. So this seems a really stupid move to me. But hey, what do I know?
So we have this big movie studio that has projects with almost everyone, all the major studios, with two characters that are also very
pretty well known
characters, such as King Kong and Godzilla. Oh, sorry, he's not King Kong. You know, that's another legal matter altogether. But sorry, Kong. And they're doing a Kickstarter.
I mean, is it like a marketing thing to try and build buzz? Because it seems strange, because the comics, none of those comics were kickstarted, as far as I know. And now they're saying, well, if you want them all in one bundle, you're going to have to kick. Maybe because they've sold, all the fans have bought them before. They're trying to think of a way to make it, because they don't want to produce loads and no one's going to buy it. I suppose this is a safer way.
Not to mention, they're very loose with continuity in terms of like matching up with the films as well. So, you know, you can spend all this money on essentially books that don't really matter to the main scheme of things.
Well, I mean, you can buy all those books probably for what, 10 quid each?
Yeah.
I would have thought on Amazon right now.
Unless they've done a sneaky thing that took them down.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly enough, if you want to appear in the comic, you can. It'll just set you back $2,000.
You will be the best Godzilla fan. You
really will.
Oh man. Well, then again, it reminds me how Toho funded
the Gigan suit, didn't they? Again,
yeah.
What's all that about?
And
maybe. I mean, it's nice if they put you pay and you get your name in the credits. You're like, oh, cool, yeah, I was part of that. I don't mind that if you have to chuck them like, I don't know, 5 quid or something. So like, yeah, give us a little bit and we'll put your name in it, or we'll give you an exclusive T-shirt, something like that. That's fine. But this just feels dirty.
I mean, like I said in like the Godzilla episode, like in comparison, the people who make Ultraman recreate suits from the 60s all the time, and probably less the budget probably took to build the Gigan suit. So who knows? But even then, yeah, they did this with Pacific Rim as well, Legendary. They did the Pacific Rim omnibus. And again, you know, as much as we like Pacific Rim, I don't know. I wouldn't expect it to sell that well either, you know, like Pacific Rim in general, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So if you guys want to back Legendary Comics and give them £99 of your money to buy comics that you could probably get for 40 quid.
I will say you can buy all the digital edition. Seems quite good. So you get the digital bundle, which is all of them in PDF format, for $15.
Yeah.
Now that I don't mind. Like you know, because there's one new story, and that'll probably cost me 10, 15 anyway. I might as well get the whole bundle. It's just digital. I don't mind that. That's not too bad.
But Paul, you get enamel pins. You know, you get enamel pins, Paul.
I've got to pay $149 to get the pins.
But look at Kong. You know, like they clearly drew a beard on Kong, but because of how enamel pins are, it looks like he's got
just a double chin, isn't it?
Chad Kong. But
well, you've got until Friday, January the 13th, to back it if you change your mind.
Yeah, in fact, Connor's birthday's in January, so if you want to give him an early birthday present,
well, there we go. We'll all come together, put $2,000 together to get you in the comic.
Yes. Oh, Invader Design invades Godzilla. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hang on. I'll just to let you know, because the shipping estimate looks to be around $33.
That's
and then it's just saying you're responsible for any VAT, import duties, taxes, or other fees. So it might be a little bit more than that.
This reminds me when I got my Prusa 3D printer. So, for those that don't know, I like to 3D print stuff, and I decided to invest in a very expensive plastic printer by a company called Prusa, which is in the Czech Republic. Now, you have to keep in mind this is after Brexit happened, so import fees and custom fees just went up the wazoo pretty much. So, what was an £800 printer ended up being a £1,000 investment.
That must be a good printer.
It hasn't let me down, unlike some of the other printers that I've had. So,
Okay, there we go then. Money well spent.
Yeah, but anyways, in other news, Paul, you like Transformers, do you?
I do like Transformers.
Yes,
I like Gen 1.
You like Gen 1. That's good. That's good enough.
I liked Bumblebee. Bumblebee was good.
Yep. And we're getting a sequel to Bumblebee, which is Transformers.
Okay.
Transformers.
That's a sequel,
Rise
is
of the
it?
Beast. Yep. Basically, it's the reboot that they don't want to admit as a reboot, but is a reboot of Transformers.
It's a reboot. So, hang on, I'm just trying to think. So, was Bumblebee? No, Bumblebee must have been after the originals because
Bumblebee
was it?
It was a reboot of the whole franchise.
Was that a prequel?
It's a prequel / reboot.
A prequel / reboot. Okay.
They don't want to admit it's a reboot, but it is a reboot.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. So, Rise of the Beast is the new film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is going to mix the G1 stuff with the Beast Wars stuff. So you know what? You might be thinking, wait, this is a kaiju thing. Like surely, like we should be talking about kaiju. Listen, Transformers started off as a Japanese toy brand. We can talk about them if we want.
It's Christmas. Let us talk about it.
It's Christmas. Yeah. Yes. So, oh man.
I mean, I watched the Beast one. Was it Beast Wars?
There's two cartoons. There's Beast Wars and Beast Machines. I mean,
okay, I remember Beast Wars. I don't think I watched Beast Machines, and it was all right, but it still doesn't compare to the originals. Just because I grew up with that, and as I got older, I lost a bit of interest. But I don't know. I'm a little bit tired of the Transformers films. I've been tired of them for a long time. It was only Bumblebee was actually decent.
Yeah,
so,
it's just like, oh man, you mean to tell me they want a fun adventure movie and not just weird, strange jokes and making the Transformers as disgusting as possible? Yeah. I mean, oh god.
I'm gonna say I'm not at the moment. I'm not excited for this film, but I will watch it. I guess if it looks all right. Have you seen trailers? Clips, anything?
There was only one trailer out at the moment at the time of this recording for Rise of the Beasts.
You've never faced anything like this. Let them come.
It's got Optimus, it's got Bumblebee, it's got the usual crew.
All we need.
Yeah. And Biggie Smalls in the background. So yeah, just that trailer hype, like
okay.
Yeah. But I am happy that they're still using the G1 designs by the looks of things, mostly for the Autobots. Yeah. So they've learned their lesson. Yeah. Although Optimus still has that weird mouth thing, which I don't like. That's one aspect I've never liked about well, there's actually a few things I don't like about the live action Transformers films. But
is it still Megatron?
Megatron is.
And is he now a T-Rex?
Maybe in this one, I don't know. They've never shown Megatron in the trailer, so whether or not he's in it or not, it's
okay.
It's Scourge. So if you're a fan of G1, you'll know who Scourge
Let's say Scourge, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the one with the mustache. Oh man, actually. I hate how in like the later Bay films they started giving Transformers facial hair, but it's like in the cartoon, it's like a metal plate.
It was a metal bit, yeah.
No, it's like we must have actual strands of hair and just make it. They cough up green blood or whatever. It's like no, stop. Yeah. So from what I can tell, yeah, they're using G1 designs. They're using the Maximals from Beast Wars. And yeah, I guess there's not much else I can say. Just hopefully it'll be good and not just poo-poo like 70% of the Transformers
Yeah,
films.
so most of them have been pretty bad.
Yeah, though I still stand by that the special effects of those films are still top notch.
Oh, the effects are fine.
Yeah,
I've got no problem with the effects.
Despite whether it's a Devastator, but
I mean, yeah, I mean that's not Devastator.
They sell toys off of those, so it's like, hey, I can't. Speaking of strange, inappropriate things, I watched Pinocchio recently, the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio film, right?
Okay.
He's just a puppet.
No, I'm not. I'm a real boy.
Which you're like, Connor, that's not a kaiju film. What are you talking about? So it's an interesting remake of Pinocchio. Have you seen it, Paul?
I have not. No.
Yeah,
there's two Pinocchios recently released, isn't there?
It's 3 Pinocchio films.
3. Oh god.
Yeah. So there's.
I haven't seen any of them, but I've thought there was like a Disney one and a Del Toro one.
So there's a strange Russian one that came out not long ago, which I've seen clips. It's terrible. There's a Disney one which is just a straight remake of the original film.
Okay, yeah. But now live action and more cringy. And then we have Del Toro's one, which is a stop motion masterpiece. Who'd have thunk? But anyways, So everyone knows the story of Pinocchio, whoever. The Del Toro added some stuff to put in the 1930s and such, so it's like fascistic Italy and all that, which is an interesting adaptation, I suppose. But anyways, so as we know, at some point in Pinocchio, he gets eaten by a whale in the Disney film, right? Yeah.
In the book, it's a fish, a big fish, and in the Del Toro film, it's a big fish as well, but we'll just call it a whale just for the sake of things, because everyone knows the Disney version of Pinocchio. They decided to go with a very disgusting design for this creature, right?
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah,
that's what we like.
It's like brownish color. It has these really like glazed over eyes and all that, as well as like a million teeth. But that's not what makes it disgusting, and it is generally more like a kaiju than like a whale or a fish. Honestly, this creature. So you know how in the original film they make the whale sneeze in order to escape the whale, right? In this one, they want to go out of the whale's blowhole, right?
Yeah. Sure.
And to get out, they make Pinocchio lie a bunch. His nose grows. They snap it off, and they climb out the wheel. Right?
Okay.
So here's the disgusting part. Right? And this is in a kids' film. Keep in mind. Right? So the blowholes, there's 2 of them. There's 2 blowholes. Right? Are sticking out the sides of the whale's head. Right?
Yeah.
And they stick out more, and they don't look like blowholes.
Oh, Connor. Actually, is it a kids' film, this version, or is it aimed at a slightly later age group?
Well, to be fair, you could say the original story was for kids, but at the same time, it's still very dark in tone. But no, there is a lot of dark elements, and I think it still works as a kids' film. I think you can still have your family come around and watch it, I guess. But go watch Pinocchio if you want to scar your kids, I suppose, as well as scar yourself.
Right. Let's move away from that.
Yes.
So Gigabash.
Yes, Gigabash.
Now, Gigabash is a game that I have not played, but I would like to play. I know it came out around the same time of Dawn of the Monsters, and obviously we had Alex Rushdie on from 13am Games talking all about Dawn of the Monsters, and that got me really hyped up, and I got the physical edition from Limited Run. We had Limited Run on. I tried to track down someone to talk about Gigabash, and I haven't been able to pin anyone down yet. But it's much like the old Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee or Godzilla Save the Earth, that kind of lot. But it's all original kaiju.
Mm-hmm.
But it's modern gen. So we've got a nice 4-player, free for all, online play, city smashing, kaiju battle royale thing. Should be a ton of fun. It's exclusive to PlayStation and PC at the moment. I think they said they're working on Xbox and potentially Switch, but that's down the road. They just want to focus on what they've got. And they teased Godzilla coming around Godzilla's birthday. They said, Godzilla's coming. Like, oh, well, I was quite hyped to play the game. Well, it's more of a social game, but online play. And now they've announced there's actually a whole Godzilla DLC pack. Yeah, where you get 4 characters from Toho. I was like,
I was expecting them to release the DLC characters one at a time. No, here they are.
No, it's just one pack, isn't it? Because I was thinking, they're going to charge, just try and not make as much money as possible, but they're going to say, well, you can buy them all individually, or you can get them discounted if you buy a bundle. But no, it's just one bundle. So we've got Godzilla, Gigan, Mechagodzilla, and Destroyer, of all things. That was a surprise.
I was honestly just expecting Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, and maybe Mechagodzilla.
That's what came to Fall Guys recently. So you kind of think, well, they're the ones people know. But Destroyer's a real interesting choice that isn't really that well known at all.
Yeah. Well, you could say the same thing about Gigan as well.
That's actually Gigan, aside from the recent birthday celebrations, which perhaps why they've done that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's very interesting design choice as well. So for Godzilla, they've picked out the Heisei design for Godzilla for this game, as well as Destroyer. Gigan, I'm more surprised they used the Showa design, because a lot of Godzilla media tends to use the Final Wars design with like the buzzsaw hands.
The cooler one, yeah.
And of course, Mechagodzilla is Kiryu from Godzilla Against Mechagodzilla. So
it's a bit of a mashup there, isn't it?
Yeah. In the case of Kiryu, Kiryu is very popular in terms of like Mechagodzillas. Like they release so much merchandise of Kiryu for some reason. Like,
do they? I haven't really paid attention to that.
Yeah, especially model kits. Like if anyone builds Gundam kits, basically. They released it's sort of like a Kiryu kit that you can build and you can pose in all sorts of ways. So if you want a really cheap figure without having to spend money on the monster arts or the new Soul Chogokin figure that's coming out, you can make your own Kiryu figure.
Right, okay. That's cool.
But I really want to play Gigabash.
So do I. I think there's a demo on PC maybe.
I could use Steam, but the problem with me is when you're an artist, you have a lot of software dedicated to art and 3D printing on your computer that you realize, I can't install Steam. It's going to take too much memory up.
Oh, is it really? Is it that much?
Yeah, unfortunately. That's the price you get for using ZBrush and Blender and all that jazz. But
okay.
Hey-o.
Well, I mean, it's on. I say as at time of recording, it's on sale. I think they're going to keep it on sale probably to the new year. And I say on sale, I think it's down to £20 for the game, and then it's £8, I believe, for the DLC pack.
Which is quite fair. It's very fair.
Yeah, it seems a decent price.
Unlike a certain comic company, but
because normally it's say £30, so they're basically saying now you can get the DLC pack free if you buy it now, effectively, which seems it's a good way to.
Speaking of
bring new people in.
Yeah, speaking of video games and monsters, actually, before I get to that, there was another game that came out that was very similar to what Gigabash did with the DLC characters. I can't remember what it was called. It came out, I think, last year. It was sort of like a mech fighting game. It was like a arena mech game.
And they added Ultraman, didn't they?
Yes, they added Ultraman as well as.
I played the original game, and I thought it was awful. Yeah, it's like something Overdrive, Mecha Overdrive.
I can't remember.
I just remember the combat it just didn't feel good. I remember that was the original. I think they then probably have updated it since then, but I wasn't impressed.
So I actually played the sequel. I never played the first game. I only bought it for Ultraman, and
That'd be the only reason I buy it. And I think it's been on sale recently, so I was like, "Oh, do I get it?
it's probably
Do I
not
not?
worth it
No.
because it's not. It wasn't that great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Override 2, Super Mech League.
Mhm.
That's what it's called. It's got the Ultraman from the Netflix series, isn't it?
Yeah. Which, funnily enough, is the only time that Ultraman actually grows big.
You don't know that. There's a Series 3 coming next year.
Oh, oh man! And even then, it's probably going to be like, oh, he's Ultraman. He's big for like 2 seconds or something because we ran out of money. Yeah. So, buy Giga Bash. Don't buy that game. Simple as that.
Okay.
But in terms of other game news, The Witcher 3 is getting a 4K update.
Yes.
So,
I heard about that.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yes, it's free. So if you already own Witcher 3, congratulations, you have the 4K update.
Oh, is that now? Is that out? Like, they said December, didn't they? It's out now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I played it back on the PS4 for about half an hour. I was like, yeah. and that was it. And since then, I've watched the Netflix show, and now I'm thinking, do you know what? I really like that show. I want to go and give it another shot because I've heard it's just like a really long tutorial.
Yeah.
Like hours long tutorial, and then it opens up and it's really good. You can just go around slaying monsters.
Pretty much. Yeah. That's the general experience I got from
Once
Witcher.
I've finished Lord of Shadows, I will go on to Witcher 3.
Yeah. See, I actually bought the game recently as well, in preparation for the new 4K update. Okay. I like the Dark Souls games, and I think that the combat in the Witcher games is very similar to Dark Souls, right? It's a wee bit clunky, though. That's the thing.
Well, it's an old game now, isn't it? I say old.
Dark Souls is an old game, and there's no excuse.
Okay.
No, I am enjoying it for what it is, even though it's a bit janky at some points. But yeah, definitely a lot of interesting monster designs. Yeah. Though I think it's one of those games where you do need to play the other two games to get what's going on, because
story-wise.
Yeah, I'm completely lost, honestly. Okay. So my bad, I guess. But I'm sure the other two games are cheap to get, I guess. I think they're remaking the first game, if I'm not right.
Yes, yeah, they are working on remaking the original.
Yeah. So
that'll be a while though. So don't wait. Play Witcher 3 now.
Play Witcher 3 now, or you can just wait and just realize, why am I not playing video games? But
just read the books.
Read the book. Yeah, exactly. Buy the books. Buy the books for Christmas. Oh wait, this is Boxing Day, so Christmas is past.
Buy the books in the New Year sale.
Oh dear. Now, I'm sure though you can get the box set for like 40 quid or something. But yeah.
Shit, I know we just talked about Ultraman. Shin Ultraman. Did you say we're getting some details on a release outside of Japan?
Yes. So it looks like the US is getting like a theatrical release of Shin Ultraman. But
good.
They revealed the logo, which if you know what the Western version of the Shin Godzilla logo looks like, you know, it's like a scribbly sort of like paint sort of look, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because the current Ultraman media that's been released, what they've been doing is actually kind of smart, where they actually take the Japanese logos, then try to make them into English, I suppose, with that same sort of font.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is very unique. I've never seen, say, the Godzilla brand do that, where they try to recreate the Japanese logos with the English text. So that's just from a design. It is linked to Shin Godzilla. I'll just say that. That's a bit of a minor spoiler, I guess. But sorry, folks, who were excited for that. So hopefully that actually does mean a UK release, because from what I can tell, it's getting a wide release in the States. So you never know.
Yeah, if they're going to go to the trouble of releasing it there, you'd imagine it'd be like Shin Godzilla and get a weekend here or something. But when? It feels like it came out ages ago.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure. I'll need to check.
At some point next year.
Some point next year, yeah. Watch me just completely jinx it and say, no, it's today. But
Yeah, maybe it'd be like a Netflix thing, and they'll just someone will get the streaming rights.
one day only. That's it. Yeah. I think I can say that I've seen it. I have actually seen Shin Ultraman. I'm not going to tell you how I managed to see it. But,
And was it good?
It was really good, Paul.
Really good. Okay.
Yes, I would say it's on par with Shin Godzilla if you like that film. Yes.
Okay.
But also, if you're a fan of the original Ultraman TV show, which I am, obviously. But so if you get the chance, regardless if it's in cinemas or not, go check out Shin Ultraman.
We'll try and hold off until we get a cinema release. Watch it on the big screen.
And buy the official release.
Because we want, if it does get a UK release, we also want to encourage them to do it more often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so that is our preferred method.
Yes, exactly. And import the Japanese.
Yes.
Game.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
It might not have subtitles, but you can just watch the monster action. That's all.
That's all I'm there for.
That's all that matters. Oh man. But anyways,
Whole face.
Yes.
I think that's the last bit of kaiju news that we've got, isn't it?
Yes, it's been a very dry episode, this episode, but
well, I mean, as you say, it is the season where everyone's winding down. There's not much going on.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to do a nice, easy episode.
Yep. So I guess we should move on to, if nothing else, I guess.
Well, should we say a little bit about Coldface?
Oh yes,
just to let people know what it is, because it's a new graphic novel, isn't it, coming out?
Yes.
Set in Britain during the 90s, 80s, the Thatcher years.
Yeah, so
okay.
70s, 80s.
70s, 80s, okay. Yeah. And it's about a dragon in a coal mine.
Yeah.
Is it like Rain of Fire? Just in London?
I couldn't tell you, literally. Like the artist that is doing it is a guy called Jay Gunn, right? And for those who are fans of PlayStation 1 games, he was the character artist for the medieval games. So if anyone's ever played those games back in the day,
back in the day, in the 90s,
yeah, I'm sure that. Well, actually, no.
They got remade, didn't it?
They've remade twice. Twice. Medieval
must have a lot of fans then.
Yeah. It's strange because the first remake was on the PSP. It was called Medieval Resurrection, right? And they tried to add a lot of humor into it, because the original PS1 game was like a dark gothic sort of like fantasy sort of thing. In the first remake, they tried adding humor, the main character has a sidekick in the remake who's does a really bad Borat impression, I guess.
Yeah, not selling it.
And the second remake came out on the PS4 not long ago, and basically reused the same recordings from the PS1 game. So if you played the PS1 game, you're not missing much. But
right.
But it's actually a more convenient way to play it, unless you want to track down a PlayStation 1, I guess.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, the dragon that Jay Gunn has designed is very kaiju-esque, per se.
Cool.
And it's got a very unique art style where it's actually drawn in charcoal as well. Haha, coal mine charcoal.
Oh, yeah. Good.
But from what I can tell, it looks like a very interesting story. I'll just say that. It should be coming out in January next year as well. So
very soon.
Yeah. It's been on the go for a while because I've been following this for a while. So I guess check out Coalface when you get the chance, whenever that comes out. Yeah. Who knows? We might even get Jay Gunn on the podcast if we bug him.
Give it a shot.
Yeah. I'm sure he listens to the.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah. Anyways, I think that about does it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Now we can say if nothing else.
Yes, I'm rushing at this episode.
You are.
Yeah. Paul, if nothing else.
If nothing else, I hope you're all enjoying the holidays. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, I'm assuming everyone still gets leave because it's a public holiday. So,
yeah,
watch a kaiju film, play a kaiju game, read a kaiju game, or don't do anything to do with kaiju. Have a break. Go watch some rom-coms, and then come back in the new year thinking, "God, I'm fed up with rom-coms." But all I would say is, if you could give us a shout to let us know what you got for Christmas, if you've got anything awesome kaiju related. And I think it'd be really good to hear what people's highlights were of 2022, you know, what their favorite kaiju related thing was, you know, be it whatever media it is, and what you're most looking forward to in 2023. So everyone, please write in, let us know 22 highlights, 23 looking forward to, and then we'll give them a shout out and probably discuss ours in an upcoming episode in 2023.
Yeah, that's very well said. Yep. I guess for me, really, go watch Kong 76 because it's got a monkey, and that's especially that animatronic monkey with the wonky hands. But oh man, what a way to end an episode! But yeah, so this is episode 110 of Kaiju Curry House, and as always, keep it kaiju.
Well done, keep it kaiju.
Yay!
So this is episode 110.
Ooh. All right.
110. It's not a bad number.
I might as well just introduce us and then okay. Whenever you're ready. 3, 2, 1. Hello, and that.
And that's how we start the show here.